So inside the box, the Scottoiler box, you've got the reservoir, you've got the oil itself, the fittings pack, the filling or priming spout, tubing, dispenser assembly, the vacuum tubing, the filler plug. We've got some adhesive clips for the hose, 2 T-pieces, we're going to be using the smaller of the two, and a rubber vacuum damper. So the first thing we need to do is clean the chain thoroughly. Once the chain is clean, apply a thin layer of the Scottoiler onto the chain using a cloth. Now we need to cut into the vacuum pipe. So if you cut here and insert the smaller of the 2 T-pieces, and now attach the vacuum tubing and the damper elbow onto that T-piece. And attach the vacuum hose to the damper, coming off in the direction of the rear of the bike. Now we need to assemble the dispenser, which comprises of the dispenser plate and the dispenser nib with a Jubilee clip. I had to cut down this assembly because it was a little bit too long for the NC750X. Now we need to loosen the axle bolt and take the nut off and place the dispenser assembly over the top, and then retighten the bolt. Position the nib so it's just sitting above the chain. Now this first attempt I tried, it kept hitting the sprocket nuts, so I reversed it around, repositioned it just to avoid those nuts as the wheel turned. So it needs to just sit above the chain and lightly touching the sprocket face with the cut facing outwards. Now position the reservoir using the supplied tie wraps and clean the underside of the swing arm and attach the hose clips. Route the tubing along the swing arm and up, and cut the tubing and fix to the bottom of the reservoir. And do the same for the smaller black vacuum tube. That needs to run through the inside of the bike. You can use the tie wraps. Cut it to the correct length, and it sits inside the black tubing that comes from the top of the reservoir. Now it's time to fill the reservoir up. Attach the priming spout to the reservoir and just fill it up as much as you can. Now attach the filler plug. Then connect the priming spout to the filler plug. With the dial set to prime, push any excess air bubbles from the system, and so that you can see the oil at the dispenser. And the last thing we need to do is attach the breather assembly to the filler plug, and it sort of goes up into an upside down U shape and is tie wrapped in place. Now start the engine and adjust the dial on the reservoir so that there's 1 drip of oil each minute. And that's it, job done.